Hi, this is Clarence Mobley, and this is my wife, Tammy Mobley. And she is helping me with the Rogerian method of debate. And the topic we have chosen is arming and training teachers a reasonable solution to the problem of school violence? The article we both read is called Teachers Are Not Soldiers. I'm going to be arguing against the article. Tammy's going to be arguing for the article. My first position on this is that the teacher that wrote the article is a former Marine, and he's basing this article on his experience as far as being a Marine. He's talked about the teamwork that it takes to be a Marine and how a teacher has to be a team player and being, protecting the students, basically. I don't feel that that's necessary. I think a teacher's job is to protect the class. So they don't have to work in a team environment. They just have to protect the class. He also mentioned about the training that it takes to be a Marine and how it takes 13 weeks of training, thousands of rounds of ammunition. I disagree that that would be a problem because a teacher can go through the same amount of training and shoot the same amount of rounds to be fully trained, just like a Marine is. Now, a teacher is not going to be a Marine, but they'll get the training of it. So that is my stance on the article.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. As far as the teamwork, or what Mr. Bonner was saying in the article, is that when he was trained as a Marine, they were a collective unit. They worked as a team, so they did everything as a team. When you are in a teacher, you are solely responsible for your classroom. So if there is an active shooter on the premises, the teacher would have to contact another teacher in the classroom. Doing so may jeopardize the students that in there, jeopardizes other students, jeopardizes safety, and jeopardizes safety of the teachers. So they would not be able to work collaboratively in that effort. The other thing that you said was training of the teachers, and a Marine has a 13 weeks training for them to be able to to be a rifleman, to be a shooter. But that 13 weeks is a minimum amount of training that a Marine needs. That's the minimum amount of training for them to be proficient. So when will these teachers have this time to do a 13-week training? When they are in school 9 months out of the year, and some teachers are actually working during the summertime as well. And even then they have schoolwork that they have to do, they have homework, they have teacher training. And I don't feel like they have to put that added pressure on them to be responsible to the level that they have to make sure that they're protecting these students with guns, that they have to go through an additional 13 weeks, fit that into their schedule, additional 13 weeks of training to protect our children.
Okay. So I understand you to say that that you agree with the article in that a teacher will require a certain amount of communication in order to protect the students, just like what the author was saying. And I also understand you to say that with the 13 weeks of training that's involved, a teacher will not have the amount of time based on what needs to be done with the schooling and grading papers and so forth, and the amount of time in the summer that is not available to go through the training, basically time. So with that, I would say that with the communication, the teachers can have communication just like soldiers have, which they have walkie-talkies, or they have devices in their ears like Secret Service and all, where they can speak to one another and communicate with each other to identify where the shooter is and what's the best method to take the shooter out if they're not in their classrooms. So they can communicate with each other and they can display the teamwork involved if necessary. And as far as the training does not have to be 13 weeks. That's what it takes to be a Marine. But we're not trying to teach teachers to be Marines. We're just trying to get them trained enough to be able to protect the students. So the training could be narrowed down to a certain amount of time that it takes to become a marksman and not invade a village. And that will solve the problem of the time and maybe save some money. So that was our Rogerian debate, and I hope you enjoyed it, and we thank you for your time.